to participate alongside his teammates at voluntary workouts this offseason, albeit perhaps in a limited capacity. Here's what the Chiefs head coach had to say about the progress that Mahomes has made so far. Remember, he got hurt in December.
He is in a good position to be able to do some things. If he can do some things, phase two, remember, is there's no contact, there's no offense versus defense. It's phase three that you get into that. He's in a position where he can do everything, I think. So.
What are we thinking here, Dan?
I think it's encouraging. I don't know that it's conclusive yet. I think, when Patrick Mahomes got hurt, recovery from this surgery, 9 months is about the earliest, and that would put him right around week 1. So I don't think it's out of the question. His rehab has been, by all accounts, good and intensive. He has full faith in the Chiefs training staff, in particular Julie Freimeyer, who's the trainer that he's worked with closest. I think she's been obviously around him a lot this offseason. So encouraging that he's able to do that. But, Andy put the disclaimer on it. Like, he's not out there playing football. This is second phase of offseason workouts, very rudimentary stuff.
When you're running a team, one of your job descriptions is you're the CWO, the Chief Worry Officer.
Right, you're worrying.
All the time. And so one of the things you worry about, and we just saw with Jason Tatum, unfortunately, he has this Herculean comeback from an Achilles and unfortunately hurts his knee, and we saw what happened. And one of the things you worry about with Patrick Mahomes is, does he get a soft tissue injury? And I would err on the abundance of caution. Look, if we were the Chiefs, I'd rather go 1-3 in September with a healthy Patrick Mahomes than anything else. So it's awesome to hear where he is. But again, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, and I just think taking our time and making sure that all these other ancillary issues are minimized as well.
It's actually an interesting point that came up. I forget who it was. Might have been you who said in the meeting this morning, the schedule release should come relatively soon.
It's
right?
this month. I don't think it's unreasonable to think it'd be next week based on history and when they usually do it. But yeah, that'll be a talking point off of that, right? What does the Chiefs' September look like? And how likely are they to have Patrick Mahomes for it? Or even if he does play, does he need a little while to get back to himself? So I think that'll be interesting to see.
If they wind up with a bunch of division, I remember the Chargers in that division last year had 3 division games to start their season. They won all 3 of them, and they wound up putting them into the playoffs. People are talking about, and DraftKings Sportsbook is saying the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorites to win the AFC West. Are they your favorites, Mr. Woody?
They are not. I have the Denver Broncos favorite, and for a variety of reasons. I think defensively, last year they were one of the top. I have no reason to expect for them not to be one of the best defenses in the league. Obviously, Bo Nix should come back from the injury he sustained last year.
Right.
They added Jalen Waddle in the trade, which to me is a big boost to that wide receiving core. They got a lot of pieces coming back, continuity. So for me, I'll take the Denver Broncos. And here's what I would say about the Kansas City Chiefs. We know that Patrick Mahomes sustained that ACL injury. They've added a ton of guys. I think a ton of high quality athletic speed on the defensive side. How fast can those guys gel on that side of the ball to allow Patrick Mahomes to kind of catch up from that injury he sustained?
Yeah, I love what they did in the draft. Again, they got Mansour Delane to replace Trent McDuffie. They got Peter Woods. They got R. Mason Thomas. So I think they got the pieces they needed. I agree with D. Wood. It may not come back overnight, but that is a heck of a draft, and you are attacking need after need after need. So, look, I think by the end of the season, if these players come back to where, if they develop the way they can, and again, Delane to me has a chance to be an outstanding corner. They're skill players. They're going to have to play better and more consistent, but the pieces are there for them to win the division.
Well, Dan Graziano, I keep hearing people say the Chiefs need something to make their offense look a little bit more like it did when they had Tyreek Hill. And the answer might be, could they get Tyreek Hill?
They could. He's a free agent, and that's certainly been speculated on. We don't know where he is in his injury recovery.
That's what I mean. Is Tyreek Hill still Tyreek Hill?
I would think probably no. He's on the wrong side of 30, but I mean, he can still, assuming he comes back to full health, he can still run, and maybe that would give them something they haven't had. The offensive skill group, other than Kenneth Walker, doesn't look a lot different from last year, but they made significant changes on their coaching staff on that side of the ball. Like 5 or 6 positions were replaced on that side of the ball. So the hope is that there's an infusion on that end of it that helps bring everybody around.
I feel like if I'm Patrick Mahomes, and come back from the injury, all that, got 3 Super Bowl rings, get it, all that, everything life could not possibly better be. But there's a part of me that feels like saying, I'm tired of having to have everyone say, look at the way Mahomes will just figure everything else out. We got to get the defense right. He'll just carry everything over. I think that at some point they need to put something on his side of the ball. I thought they might take Kenyon Sadiq. I thought they might take Jordan Thomas. I thought they might take one of the other Jordan Tyson. I thought they might take one of the other offensive skill position players.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there was a lot of speculation of that, but I think to Graziano's point, when you switch out so many different coaches, I think they're relying more so on developing talent, having some of these younger guys taking another step forward in that development, and some of those guys, they'll be able to create the explosive plays rather than maybe we shouldn't have added other pieces to the puzzle.
They also did spend $14 million a year on a running back. Kenneth Walker's a significant addition to that offense.
Now they just need to actually hand him the ball. Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer said he's not sure if George Pickens will participate in voluntary workouts this offseason, although the receiver has signed his franchise tag tender. Schotty saying as of right now, they've not had any conversations about trading Pickens and look forward to his growth this year. Listen.
I just think where he can continue to go and grow is scary, because what he did last year was amazing. And the more you watch the film and you see it, you're just kind of like, whoa, like it's different. Super Bowl 61, February 14th, 2027. And that's where we plan on being. And that's a tall task, and we have to clean up a number of things that we need to improve on from last year, and that starts with protecting the football and taking it away and things like that nature. But it was proven this year by both Seattle and New England that if you didn't qualify for the playoffs, the previous year, it doesn't mean you can't get to the big game.
I love it. Listen to Schotty calling his shot.
That's right.
If you will. And he's not afraid to talk about the Super Bowl right now and everything else. And the last piece of this had to fall into place, which is George Pickens signing that tender, which he did. And Mike T, you're going to tell us that the timing of it suggests he intends to play for the Cowboys this season.
Absolutely, Greeny. It was reported initially that he had signed before the draft, which would lead us to think, okay, maybe he's going to get traded some point before round one, do a deal and go to Team X, and then Dallas would take that draft capital and presumably sign a receiver. The fact that he signed it after the draft tells me he is 100% there for the year. It just wouldn't make sense for the way the Dallas Cowboys are built to trade George Pickens after the draft, knowing there's really not a lot of receiver options out there, which is great news for the Cowboys. It's better news, Greeny, from the standpoint now he has to be at mandatory minicamp, he has to be at training camp, which gives him and the Cowboys the best chance to be successful for the season.
You were making the point this morning, Dan. We've not yet heard from him. At some point, we will. But that does seem, you sort of add 2 and 2 together. It seems like that's the way it's going.
Actions speak louder than words. He signs the tag. Like the Cowboys come out and say we're not going to negotiate a long-term deal with him. The Cowboys believe the franchise tag is the correct way to go with George Pickens this season. And you hear it in what Brian Schottenheimer is saying, talking about how much better he can still get. That's kind of their pitch to Pickens, like, hey, do it again, and maybe even more, and then you'll really cash in, whether it's with us or somebody else, But I think that's what they're saying. Like, it was one great year. Let's see it again, and then we'll talk.
I hope that that's the way he sees it if I'm a Cowboy fan, because the reality is that's the right way to approach this. I can't criticize the Cowboys for their approach on this at all, considering the history. So now you sit back and you look at it, D. Wood, and you've got the head coach, and you know him well. He was your OC with the Jets, talking Super Bowl talk in early May. How do you feel about it?
I love it, man. Like, listen, I've had it from both sides of the coin. I've had it where, the process, you don't want to get ahead of it. And I've had coaches say, hell, let's talk about it now. Let's lay out all the expectations right now. Both sides at work. Schotty's very confident. They got a really good roster. We all know the things that they need to work on, stopping the run and all that. But listen, at the end of the day, Greeny, it's about big-time players doing big-time things. That's what it's all about with the Dallas Cowboys. We can go on and on about all these other stuff, but it's the Dak Prescotts, the C.D. Lambs, the George Pickens, the Quentin Williams, all of those guys. They got to come up money if the Dallas Cowboys want to be playing in Los Angeles.
Yeah, a couple years ago, they make the playoffs. They lose that home game to Green Bay right in the first round. A major letdown for a team that had high hopes. So with the Cowboys, If we're assuming the roster is good enough to get them back to the playoffs, then it's the same old question. Can Dak Prescott and this group elevate beyond where they've been, which is they haven't been to a conference championship game in 30 years?
If they're going to, it's the defense that's going to have to get a lot better. And if there's one person that is an addition to that defense that you think makes the biggest difference, who is that person?
Caleb Downs. We talked a lot pre-draft about his versatility, how smart he is. But Dallas last year gave up 72 plays of 20 yards or more, which was the fourth most in the league. If he just cuts that in half, the amount of yardage and the amount of big plays he'll prevent, because he's an outstanding tackler, is going to be huge for this defense.
All right, so we'll see. There's some video of him for the first time in a Cowboy uniform, and now you see him playing with Ohio State. We'll see what they're capable of doing. I want everyone to see one other thing, and I want you guys to be here to react to this, because it was my favorite thing over the weekend that I saw by a